All right, Tim Legler is with us after the Celtics take down the Raptors. They move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Tim, when you get to a Game 7, you know that there's got to be one dude at some point that does something to turn the tide for his squad, and that was clearly Jayson Tatum for the Celtics, going 29, 12, and 7. Why was he so effective when it mattered the most in this game?
Well, I tell you what, Mike, in a Game 7, what you need is your best player to be the best player on the floor, and Jayson Tatum was. You know, this is a guy now that has gone from nice young player to all-star caliber to bona fide star right before our eyes, and he's approaching superstar status. We'll see how the rest of this season goes, but the fact that he could be this good at this age in a Game 7, the confidence level just oozes out. He's the one guy offensively that was able to operate throughout the entire series the way he wanted to. Regardless of whatever defender they threw at him, a double teams traps, you got physical with them, they hit him, small guys, big guys, it didn't matter. Jayson Tatum's emergence now as an all-around offensive player was on point in this series. You saw his handle, you saw his ability to create. The passing, to me, is what really stood out in this series. He's taken that to a completely different level, and he needed to be that guy for Boston in this game. They couldn't afford for him not to be because he's got the ball too much. He came through in a big way. Jayson Tatum was the best player on the floor, and now Boston is in the Eastern Conference Finals. And
another guy that Boston needed in this Game 7 was clearly Marcus Smart. He's a guy you want on your team and you hate to see on the other team. But early on, Celtics fans were on Twitter like, yo, is he trying to shoot us out of this game? He was shooting a bunch of threes. But his impact oftentimes, Tim, is not necessarily in the box score itself.
No chance they survived this game and this series without Marcus Smart. And it's not just tonight. He had a 5 3-point barrage earlier in the series. If you remember, they completely turned Game 2. He's made plays throughout the entire series. But tonight, some of the things that he did that show up, and these are all at times when this game is a one-possession game, his ability to read passing lanes and then trigger offense out of it. Gets the steal, goes length to the court, gets your star player an easy one. There's no value that you could put on that. And this one, just out-racing two guys for a loose ball as an intangible, again, to get easy points in a Game 7, which are hard to come by, an ability to finish strong around the rim. And then you know he's always going to bring the toughness on the defensive end of the floor. You know, Kyle Lowry and Marcus Smart, two guys in the league to give up their bodies. You saw it in this series. This is an enormous play late in the game. Again here, reading passing lanes, disrupting. And right after that, Kemba Walker gets a three-point play, so it leads to offense. And then this is the biggest play maybe of the entire series. Norman Powell looks like he's got a layup. That's going to tie the game. You got a minute to play in a tie game in a Game 7. Who knows how that goes? That's an impactful track down, smack down. Boston ends up holding on. They made all the little plays late in the game. Give Toronto a lot of credit, Mike, because you know they're a champion. They were not going to go away easy. They could have folded a couple times in this game. They refused to do that. They end up making it a one-possession game with a minute to play. But ultimately, I think the Boston Celtics just have too many guys with versatility offensively, too many answers, and Toronto did not have enough guys at the top of their roster play well enough offensively in this series.
Yeah, and Pascal Siakam wasn't the guy that a lot of people thought he would be in this postseason. Tim, do me a favor, sit tight, because I do want to get your take on the Eastern Conference Finals. This is what happened during the regular season. 3 matchups. Celtics won 2 of the 3. You see the numbers there. Fairly evening. By the way, this is the first time they've met in the playoffs since 2012. Tim Legler is back with us now, and you look at this matchup, and regular season games matter, and sometimes they really don't, because what we saw from the Heat in the bubble and to start this postseason run has been one of the most impressive things so far of the bubble. What do you make of this matchup going into Tuesday's Game 1?
Yeah, Mike, look, it's impossible not to watch the Miami Heat and fall in love with the way they play. If you're a basketball fan, you love the way that team plays. They're unselfish. They're incredibly well coached. They're great defensively, the way that they help each other, and actually have a lot of similarities with Boston because of the way that they move it, the way that they shoot it, the constant motion, how hard they play consistently. So with two teams with similar styles, both exceptionally well coached, I think you have to give the edge to Boston for this reason. They just have too many answers. They have too much versatility with their best players. And I don't think you're going to see Kemba Walker have another series like that. Now, Toronto had certain guys that could take him out of it a little bit. They boxed and won him. They face guarded him, made life miserable. I don't necessarily think Miami's going to do it. So Kemba Walker is going to put his imprint on the next round. There's no question in my mind. And then you've got Jayson Tatum, you've got Jaylen Brown, you've got the wild card in Marcus Smart. They've even gotten great contributions out of Daniel Tice. But the bottom line is I just think their best offensive players have so much versatility and ultimately just a little bit higher ceiling than what you're dealing with Miami. As well as Miami plays together, they're going to be in this. And I would expect this to be 6 or 7 games, and almost every one of them going into the fourth quarter in doubt. But I just think Boston has the answers, and I think they've got the best overall individual talent in Jayson Tatum now, who I said is approaching superstardom, depending if he can finish this run off by getting this team to the NBA Finals.
And they've made the Finals 3 of the last 4 years, so they got a little more experience on their side as well. But I got to say, as a basketball fan, Tim, I'm looking forward to this Jayson Tatum-Jimmy Butler matchup. I want that so much as a fan to be what determines this series. Tim, appreciate the time, brother.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.